From space, Earth looks calm. But beneath that silence lies a geometry of survival, where distance, curvature, and time decide the fate of continents. Every intercontinental ballistic missile ever designed obeys the same rule. The shortest path is not straight. It bends over the Arctic. Greenland sits exactly at that bend, not as territory, but as geometry made land. In nuclear strategy, geography is not politics. Geography is physics. Whoever controls early vision over the Arctic controls the first minutes of any global conflict. These minutes are not symbolic. They are mathematical margins between interception and impact. This is why Greenland is not a frontier. It is an eye that never blinks, never sleeps, and never negotiates with uncertainty. Missiles can be countered. Explosions can be intercepted. But blindness cannot be corrected in time. And in modern warfare, time is the only resource that cannot be replenished. To guard the northern approach, the United States did not choose speed, armor, or firepower. It chose mathematics, reliability, and continuous awareness. The AN/FPS 132 radar is not a weapon of reaction, but a system of prediction. Its purpose is to see an event before it becomes a crisis. Unlike rotating radars limited by mechanics, this system replaces motion with computation. Thousands of fixed transmit-receive elements act as a single intelligent surface. Beam steering occurs electronically, at near instantaneous speeds. No inertia, no delay, no blind arcs. In strategic defense, the absence of moving parts is not convenience, it is survival engineering. Because what cannot fail mechanically cannot fail catastrophically. Every radar pulse leaving the AN/FPS 132 travels at the ultimate speed limit of the universe, the speed of light crossing thousands of kilometers in a fraction of a second. When that pulse returns, it carries far more than a reflection. It carries distance, velocity, direction, and the hidden intent encoded in motion. Time delay becomes range. Frequency shift becomes speed. And mathematics translates echoes into reality. Through Doppler analysis, even the slightest acceleration is exposed, separating moving threats from the static noise of space. What appears chaotic to the human eye is ordered instantly by algorithms trained to recognize ballistic behavior. Unlike conventional radars, AN/FPS 132 does not scan sequentially. It observes simultaneously. Multiple beams are formed, redirected, and reshaped electronically without mechanical motion. Each beam interrogates a different slice of space at the same moment. This is not searching. This is continuous questioning of the sky. And every answer arrives before uncertainty has time to grow. A ballistic missile, once launched, becomes a physical equation written across the sky. Its boost phase defines its energy. Its mid-course defines its destiny. And gravity enforces the final solution. After propulsion ends, the missile is no longer maneuvering, it is obeying physics. That obedience is what makes early detection so decisive. The earlier the radar sees the launch, the narrower the prediction window becomes. Greenland's latitude minimizes angular distortion during the missile's most revealing phase. From lower latitudes, Earth's curvature hides critical information. From Greenland, geometry works in favor of defense. Height and position transform visibility into foresight, and foresight transforms reaction into control. From Greenland, the radar observes missiles while they are still climbing, before deception and separation occur. Infrared satellites detect heat, but radar defines shape, mass, and motion. Together, these sensors eliminate ambiguity that could otherwise trigger false alarms. In strategic defense, certainty is more valuable than speed alone. Confidence prevents accidental escalation during moments of maximum tension. Without Greenland, detection shifts dangerously late into mid-course. Intercept windows shrink, and decision time collapses. Leaders are forced to act under compression rather than clarity. Strategy becomes reactive instead of deliberate. Early warning restores time, the most valuable currency in war prevention. Beneath the radar's monolithic face lies a dense lattice of transmit and receive modules. Each module operates independently, yet synchronizes perfectly in phase and timing. Power distribution ensures uniform signal strength across the entire array. Thermal regulation prevents drift that could degrade accuracy over time. Stability is engineered not for hours, but for decades of continuous operation. Redundancy absorbs component failure without reducing performance. There is no single point of collapse. Maintenance occurs without interrupting vigilance. This is a system built for continuity, not crisis response. Reliability here is not convenience, it is doctrine. When a launch occurs, AN FPS 132 does not hesitate. It instantly converts raw electromagnetic echoes into structured data, separating meaningful motion from the background of space in real time. Within milliseconds, the radar eliminates irrelevant returns, civilian aircraft, orbital debris, atmospheric interference using velocity profiles, and motion consistency that no human could process in real. What remains are objects that obey ballistic physics, rapid acceleration, predictable climb angles, and energy signatures that match known missile launch profiles. Each detected object is then assigned a probability score, calculated from speed vectors, acceleration curves, and historical launch models derived from decades of intelligence data. Trajectory extrapolation begins while the missile is still burning fuel, long before it reaches mid-course, allowing the system to predict impact zones before the threat fully reveals itself. This early prediction is critical because the margin for error shrinks exponentially with time. Every second gained here translates directly into interception probability later. Processed data is transmitted instantly to command centers, where decision-makers receive not raw radar images, but refined solutions paths, confidence levels, and engagement windows. Naval and land-based defense systems, including Aegis-equipped destroyers, receive targeting cues well in advance, allowing interceptors to be positioned rather than rushed. This transforms missile defense from a frantic response into a controlled sequence where timing, geometry, and physics align in favor of interception. In this workflow, the radar does not command weapons, it commands time. And in strategic defense, time is the most decisive weapon of all. Modern missile doctrine relies on saturation, not singular strikes. Quantity is used to overwhelm attention and processing capacity. And FPS 132 is designed for this exact scenario. It tracks dozens of objects simultaneously without degradation. Algorithms prioritize threats based on lethality, not proximity. Decoys are identified through inconsistent motion and signature mismatch. Real warheads remain illuminated as false targets fade away. This discrimination is where defense succeeds or fails. Human operators supervise, but mathematics leads. Emotion is deliberately removed from the loop. The radar does not fear numbers. It thrives in complexity. Saturation sharpens its strategic value. Visibility defeats volume. Awareness defeats surprise. Surprise is the true weapon of mass destruction. Greenland neutralizes surprise before it forms. Not with firepower, but with foresight. Not by striking, but by knowing. This is dominance through perception, not aggression. And FPS 132 was never designed to operate alone. From its inception, it was built as a central node in a continent-scale early warning architecture. Every detection made in Greenland immediately propagates through satellites, command centers, naval fleets, and interceptor systems across thousands of kilometers. In this network, speed is not measured in kilometers per second, but in milliseconds of data transfer and processing latency. Information is fused, not forwarded. Raw signals are transformed into shared situational awareness. This fusion allows the entire battle space to become predictive rather than reactive. Greenland provides the first and most reliable layer of truth in that system. If this node were removed, delays would ripple outward almost instantly. Even small increases in latency reduce interception probability in measurable, exponential ways. That is why redundancy, protection, and continuity are engineered around this radar. Its survival directly underpins the survival of the network itself. Infrastructure, diplomacy, and military posture all align around the systems that provide early knowledge. In modern doctrine, Strategy follows sensors, not the reverse. What a nation can see defines how it positions itself. Posture determines deterrence credibility, and deterrence credibility determines whether conflict begins at all. Without reliable awareness, deterrence collapses into guesswork. Guesswork invites miscalculation under pressure. Miscalculation, in the nuclear domain, has irreversible consequences. Greenland reduces this risk by removing uncertainty from the earliest moments. Ambiguity is dangerous. Clarity is stabilizing. Knowledge, when shared early, stabilizes power rather than escalating it. Transparency limits impulsive decisions during moments of crisis. Seeing a launch early prevents the need to respond blindly later. This is not passive defense waiting for impact. It is active prevention built on anticipation. The radar's true mission is not interception, but avoidance. By ensuring that no launch goes unseen, it removes surprise from the equation. By removing surprise, it reduces the probability of catastrophic escalation. Awareness becomes deterrence when it is trusted, and deterrence, when stable, becomes survival. Greenland is not defended for territory, resources, or symbolism. It is defended for time, pure, irreplaceable decision time. Time to calculate trajectories accurately. Time to verify intent rather than assume it. Time to choose restraint over irreversible reaction. AN FPS 132 stands silent on the ice, but it is never inactive. It does not threaten adversaries directly. Instead, it disciplines the decisions of those who command force. It removes ignorance from the most dangerous equations of war. And ignorance, in this domain, is the deadliest variable. History shows that wars often begin not with intent, but with failure to perceive clearly. Peace, by contrast, endures when awareness remains uninterrupted. This radar exists precisely between those two outcomes. It guards minutes that shape global history, minutes that can decide the survival of entire nations. In the final analysis, power is not measured by how many missiles can be launched. Power is measured by how early reality is understood. Power is the ability to see first, clearly, and without distortion, and to decide, with confidence, not to fire. That restraint is made possible only by knowledge. Greenland remains quiet, not because it is irrelevant, but because it is vigilant. The radar remains awake. Even when the world appears calm, the Arctic remains watched, even when nothing seems to move, because strategic stability depends on constant awareness. This is not a weapon designed to destroy targets. It is a system designed to prevent destruction from ever occurring. It was not built to kill. It was built to understand. The most important weapon in Greenland never fires a single shot. It only sees, and in the modern world, that is enough.